Todd Sheets has got a new werewolf movie. The Scream King did a comic event. There was a sexual assault at a fucking convention. Are you serious? And an interview with the enigmatic and sometimes polarizing indie horror wonderkind Adam Ahlbrandt. All this and more on the Scream Kingdom. Happy Halloween. We're back. Drink up, fuckers.
Hail to the king, baby.
What's happening? And welcome to the Scream Kingdom. Yes, we're back for a special Halloween episode and hopefully a lot more after this. I'm Scream King Tom, Indie Horror's Fake News. On to Indie Horror News. I just reviewed a movie by Todd Sheets. You may know him from Dreaming Purple Neon last year, which was a really, really good but really, really fucked up movie. He's an indie horror legend and he has a new werewolf film called Bone Hill Road that has a lot of his usual suspects that he conspires with, and also Linnea Quigley, whom I just met at Cinema Wasteland last month. So that was kind of cool in a way because she was charging a lot for her autograph, but hey, still I got to talk to her a little bit, got to hang out with Cam Scott, Tom Berdinsky, Tim Burnt, and a few of the other guys. Gonzo Speck, of course, and I got to chat with Dave Parker, who's a fantastic actor. He's been in a lot of horror stuff, especially with Dustin Wade Mills and Headless and things like that. Fantastic actor, great guy, also an avid DVD and Blu-ray collector like myself. So it was a lot of fun hanging out with him and a lot of fun at Cinema Wasteland. I hope to come back. It's my first time being there in a while, first time talking to Bill Zabub in a while. Saw his fantastic movie Dick Shark that I got from him. Watched that and it delivers exactly what the title promises. I also have Holocaust Cannibal, which I have to watch of his, and of course he's pimping his new movies. He's not quite as prolific as he used to be, but he's still out there. He's still putting out real fucked up shit, and Bill is a character. That is an understatement. We hope to have him on the Scream Kingdom soon. Yes, I've been drinking. Also, on the 21st of this month, I did the 26th annual Roops Comics Midnight Hour sale. 26th annual. Chris Rupp, the owner of Roops Comics. I've known him for years. He does this comic sale every year. Starts at midnight. He does not shut it down until the last customer is served. I was there again, your Scream Kingdom. Your Scream King is repping the Scream Kingdom. Giving away a lot of prizes, a lot of stuff that was generously donated by MVD Visual. Wild Eye Releasing, Uncorked Entertainment, and my good pal up in Muskegon, Tom Berdinsky at the Cult of Moi and Vu production company. I'm not going to try to read that in Italian because it's like half French and half Italian. And Tom is hard at work, he assures me, on the Giant Rubber Monster Movie Part 2, the feature length, which he claims he will have ready by the spring Cinema Wasteland show. But as you know, Tom is an editor. And he loves editing, and he's edited, it's been, 10 years, and he's still not done editing the Italian Zombie movie. He still cuts it and cuts it and cuts it. So we'll see if that actually comes to fruition, so to speak. Another thing I kind of wanted to speak on, and this is really fucked up, Jen and Sylvia Soska have been doing the convention circuit again from a little bit of a hiatus, and they did a convention, I'm just going to say in a southern state, a southwestern state, and apparently Sylvia was a victim of sexual assault. So that is really, really, really fucked up. Now, I don't know a whole lot of the details concerning this. Tristan Riss posted on social media about it. Understandably left the details out, which is, probably a good thing. And because they have a lot of fans, and apparently the cops were involved. Now, here's the thing. Jen and Sylvia are two of the most gracious people, the most caring people, the most giving people, especially when it comes to their fans. And for something like this to go on is just fucking unconscionable. I mean, this is a fucking black eye on the face of the entire indie horror community, or convention community. I mean, for shit like this to go on, and to mistake somebody being gracious and friendly and inviting to their fans and giving their fans access like those two ladies do, and then somebody taking advantage of that to exercise their pervy fantasies or whatever the fuck they have about them. I mean, obviously they're two very good-looking young women, but that does not give anybody the fucking right to touch them or make unwanted advances or say fucked up shit to them. It blows my fucking mind. And you know what? If you want to go to the fucking to conventions where the guests are behind chicken wire and you got to roll up your fucking 8x10 and slide it through so they can autograph it, that's what it's going to end up coming to. I mean, because even in a controlled environment like fucking last year, some woman bit Norman Reedus at a photo op. Bit him. Are you fucking serious? Who bites somebody? And then for somebody to assault one of two women who are the most amazing people in the world to their fans is just shitty. It's a poor excuse for a human fucking being, and I hope whoever this fucking moron is, that he gets prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, and hopefully gets his fucking ass kicked, because quite frankly, some people should not have testicles, and if they're not going to voluntarily surrender them, then maybe they should be forcibly taken from them. That's all I'm going to say on this fucked up matter. Also, Deidre Horhati is on assignment. Actually, that's me fucking up and not scheduling something with her, but we hope to have her back soon. So there will not be a Deidre the Horhati segment. I also, following this, have a quite extensive and deep interview with indie horror wonder kid Adam Ahlbrandt. Adam was the talk of the town when the cemetery and Crossbear were hitting. Everybody was talking about him. He had a real rough patch with the film The Sadist, which will probably never see the light of day. He is working again. He hit some rough patches personally. There's all kinds of wild rumors flying around about him, investors getting screwed and things like that. I asked Adam, he told me no questions were off limits, and no questions were off limits. He gets very deep into what was bothering him and where he was mentally and quite frankly physically a few months ago, and how he's in a better space now, and how he's working now, and how he's not done. So stay tuned for the interview with Adam, and visit our sponsors, Far Beyond Driven Tattoo. You're going to see the address right down there. They do great stuff. They also have some great clothing like shoes and t-shirts and dresses and hoodies and stuff like that with original artwork on them, all horror themed, which is very cool. And Rips Comics, I did their 26th annual sale. They're a great online comic seller, and they're also right a few blocks away from me right here in Fremont, Ohio, which is, if it's not the asshole of the universe, it's at least within farting distance. But anyway, stay tuned for the interview with Adam Ahlbrandt, and thank you for coming to the Scream Kingdom, and we hope you come back. Thanks. Our guest on the Scream Kingdom today is indie horror provocateur, and the wonderkind of extreme horror. Yeah, sure, why not? Mr. Adam Ahlbrandt. Adam, how are you?
I love you, man. Also known as the total douchebag.
That's a matter of perception.
Now, a lot of people seem to think so it's okay. Okay. I feel like that portion of the population should be represented as well.
Well, that, like I said, that's a matter of perception. That's a matter of people's personal experiences with it. Myself, I've had nothing but good with you, so.
I love you.
I love you too, man. I was introduced to your work through The Cemetery, Crossbearer, and Burnt House. In that order. No, actually, not in that order. Crossbearer, then The Cemetery, then the Burnt House. I have not seen Hunters. I heard it's real fucked up.
Okay.
But I heard so much about that movie, and then is Massacre Video distributing that, or?
I don't know.
Because I know there
I
was a
don't know.
lot of hype surrounding that movie, and then all of a sudden nothing. So I
I don't
don't.
know. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like those are all questions for Lewis Justin. I don't know. I have no idea.
Well,
I like
tell us a little about the
my
gestation of Hunters. I mean,
I mean, let's talk about Hunter's series. Let's talk about Hunters. Hunters is a movie that in a lot of regards, I feel like it came from a very bad place and may have gone too far. There's just that, the truth of it. And a lot of people hate me for it, and a lot of people, it's a movie that I don't know, necessarily. I don't necessarily blame somebody if they wouldn't want to distribute the film. If they don't want to put it out, because it's not really a positive thing. A lot of people aren't very happy about it. So, like I just told you, about a week ago, I had somebody walk up to me on the street and throw a fucking drink on me. So it's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like people are necessarily super happy. And yeah, I mean, in in no defense of the film, because there is no defense of the film. But in regards to the film, it came from a place where I was going to conventions a lot, and there are fans of extreme horror films that tend to show up at these conventions, and they want the most fucked up, the most extreme. They want you to go to the deepest, darkest places that you can imagine, and they want to be taken there. That is their escape. And I know personally, that if I was not creating these fictional realities, then I would probably be doing it empirically in real life. I know that sounds disturbing and fucked up to some people, but I know that a lot of people feel the same way. If they didn't have the release of watching extreme films or watching horror films, that they might not be able to, not live out their fantasies in real life.
no, kind of pigeonholing or not piggybacking on that. Did you make Hunters that way because that was a particular dark time in your life, or?
I mean, I don't sugarcoat this. I don't think I ever have. I'm very truthful about this. I know that I have a darkness within me, and that is something that some people don't seem to have. There are genuinely good people in the world, and then there are people who have that darkness, who have that compulsion towards viler things, and have that compulsion towards hatred and self-hatred. And I know that there's, a need for a release for me for it. And I know that psychologically, it's, the way I get rid of those feelings a lot of the times is through my work. And, through watching horror movies or through dreaming about it. And that's, strangely enough, it's one of those things where when I was dreaming of Hunters, I was constantly in a place where I was, emotionally very destitute and wanted to make, a piece of work that reflected the way I felt internally, but also helped me to make people understand, that all humanity is vile. All humanity is vile. There's so much of humanity that just ignores vast amounts of in-your-face real problems, like people dying, and, instead we're worried about, like the fucking president of the United States is more worried about tweeting about fucking NFL players than helping people in Puerto Rico. So I don't fucking know,
And there's kind of a cognitive dissonance that goes with that too. I mean, people don't want to believe that there's bad in the world, so they kind of stick their heads in the sand. But it's interesting that was very cathartic for you in that sense. It was kind of a release for you. But back to what you were saying about there's a dark side to you. I think that's an interesting dichotomy with you because in talking with you, you're a very friendly, very cool guy. But then you read something like your novella, and if anybody can get their hands on this, read Into the Chasm. It's great stuff. I've told you I loved it before, but and there's that dichotomy to that good and bad, that yin and yang, that light and dark.
I mean, it's one of those things that most people just don't admit because there's the stigma in real life, very real life. There's stigmas against actually being who you really are, and people masquerade. It's all a fucking show. Like, let me go in my $55,000 fucking car to this giant $150,000 to a fucking million or more dollar church that I'm gonna go fucking not let anybody who's homeless sleep in during the night and talk about charity and goodwill. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, it's all a show? It's just all a show? For me, I just don't care anymore. I'm just gonna be, who I am. That's it. And I know that the world is gonna hate me, and some people are gonna, feel like they also understand and feel the same way as me, and I don't give a fuck if people don't like me anymore. I just can't. It's not like I have that feeling that I don't owe it to anyone to censor myself or to pretend to be somebody I'm not, and all the people in my life that I've wronged, and I know I have wronged a lot of people that I love, and I have to live with that. And I have tried to make amends. And I'll tell you that most people won't give you any kind of mercy. And I'm aware of that just in life in general. And I'm not saying that anyone just has to give me mercy or that I deserve it. But I'm saying that I'm trying to be merciful and good as often as I can every day. And that's something that's not easy for me to do, because I know it's in my nature to want to flock to fucked up things. I know that.
Well, that says, it speaks to your character that you actually recognize that, and you don't hide behind a mask or put a face on like you said earlier.
I mean, I'm just trying to help as many people as I can, and I know I've done a lot of bad, but dwelling on it and sitting back and being a coward and not admitting that I am a person who has made massive mistakes and ruined many beautiful things from my life forever. I'm not going to help anyone by being a liar and a coward anymore in my life. So I might as well just come out and tell the truth about who I am, and maybe some other people will be able to then understand, it's okay to be who you are. It's fucking as crazy as as simple as it sounds. Like, it's okay to be a fucked up person as long as you are trying and you're succeeding in doing good. It's hard. It really is hard to change. Like, unless you've hit rock bottom, which I have many times recently, things won't necessarily change for you. And for me, I know it's every day. It's an everyday struggle. I wake up, I try, I go to work. If I see someone in need, I try and help them the best I can. And then I go home and I work on my work, my dreams, and I give it everything that I can. And it's not easy, but I mean, who has it fucking easy? It's not
exactly.
Feel bad for me. It's this is how it is. This is how it is for everyone. We all struggle. And if people stopped being cowards and admitted that they had faults, maybe we wouldn't have the stigma that we have that cause people to fucking kill themselves.
Now, back to your work, and you said making your dreams come true. What were some of your influences as far as extreme horror goes?
To be honest with you, I feel like I always just wanted to make movies, horror movies that made people feel the same things that I did when I watched the campiest films in the world as a kid, and felt like I was there, like Friday the 13th Part 2, and I know that I fucking say that all the time. That movie, like, touched me, you know, as a person in a way, and here's something. I don't know if you've heard of the Mandela effect.
No, I haven't.
Okay. Well, it's something to do with false memory, but it also speaks to the way that we remember things maybe differently than they possibly happened, maybe more enamored to the moment.
Perfect example is It 1990. Everybody was talking about how good that is. If you go back and look at that, it's shit. The only thing good about it is Tim Curry.
I love like the one scene with the grandmother.
Yeah.
That scene where they go in the house and there's the old lady and she's not really there. That scene was terrifying to me. Still, like watching it. But I get what you're saying. It's very campy now, and you're like, oh, what the fuck? This is terrifying as a kid. Yeah. Well, anyway, so it's. I've had this conversation a lot recently. It's funny how we can't trust our own memory, and it's funny how things like Luke, I am your father, was never actually in The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, Beam Me Up Scotty was never uttered in Star Trek.
Right. And, Lucy, you got some planning to do. Never in I Love Lucy, which all seems insane to me because I vividly remember them. Hello, Clarice. Was never in Silence of the Lambs. Right?
Yeah, exactly. I know what you mean.
And if you can't trust your memory, that's one of those, fuck.
I know stylistically, The Cemetery, for example, is my favorite movie of yours that I've seen, and it's very Evil Deadish without the camp. It's much darker.
I feel like the camp's still there, but yeah.
And then
we definitely
visually
we tried to get Ted Raimi to be in The Cemetery.
Nice.
I think we were actually in talks and just couldn't afford him.
I know visually, I couldn't put my finger what it reminded me of visually, and I actually watched The Red Sin Tower, and I was like, okay, that's what it reminds me of visually.
Yeah.
The way it's lit, the way it's shot. It's you can tell it's you, but visually it's got that, and it also has that little bit of that patina look that, oh man, I can't put my finger on who I'm talking about.
The bleach bypass look?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
A little bit of that Seven.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of that stuff is just, there's so many movies that you're just like, or at least for me as a filmmaker, that you're just in love with.
Yeah.
And you're in love with the process of, and you wind up using those techniques in your own movies. And it's funny because, like, you think you're being slick, and it's like a small nod maybe here or there, like, oh, this is the coloring from Seven, and then somebody's like, yeah, that looks exactly like Seven, and you're like, fuck, it's almost obvious, right?
Yeah, but everybody wears their influences on their sleeve, so
Right. Yeah.
So one of the things I heard, there was a lot of crazy rumors concerning The Sadist, and from what I understand, all the backers have been reimbursed and everything else. And is that movie actually going to happen?
I have all the hard drives, all the people who put their money into the film have been offered a refund, and everyone who's wanted one has gotten one. And the investors have all been paid back, and it's a film that I have cut, and I have a few things that I want to shoot to put into it, and gonna lie, it's hard for me. It's hard for me to look at that film because it ruined my life, and I know that it's not a good film either. Like it's a mean film, so I don't know. You know, I want to put it out, but I also it's a dangerous film.
You know, there was a lot of rumors swirling around that saying, "Oh, Adam dropped off, so he dropped off the face of the earth." A lot of people didn't realize you're still very active on Twitter and Instagram, and just not so much Facebook and everything else. One of the strangest rumors I heard was that Adam got on a plane, went to Thailand, and he's making snuff porn now for some billionaire.
Wow. No. Adam was living on the street and eating out of trash cans and worked his way back into an apartment and is working as hard as he can. And that's the truth. And it sucked. But hey, again, don't tell me I didn't fucking maybe because it taught me a lot of things. And
that which doesn't kill you makes you stronger, man.
All we have is our dream. People think they have material possessions, but you don't really own anything. And you better go for your dreams right now, because you never know. I've worked in the morgue for 2 years, and no one thinks that the next day is going to be their last. So it could happen right now. Just fucking go for it. And don't care what anybody thinks, because hey, what's the name of the first pharaoh, Tom? What's the name of the first ruler of the entire known world?
No idea.
Right. There you go. Nobody's going to remember me. Nobody's going to remember any of us.
I don't know, man.
We're all going to be erased by time.
I think
We're all going to be erased by time.
You've made quite a mark so far, and I'm sure there's more coming.
No, I mean, I appreciate that, but I'm just saying, in the long run, if you're afraid or ashamed, like, for example, like if you're someone who isn't straight and who has tendencies to be, like, maybe not like everyone else, then maybe you should just, at least for yourself, like, to yourself, admit that you are okay,
Yeah.
being who you are.
To thine own self be true.
And in the long run, who gives a fuck? No one will remember any of us. They just won't. They won't. They won't. You don't know the name of the first pharaoh. This person ruled all of the known world.
I thought you were going to tell me.
Their time. I don't fucking know. I don't know. You know why? Because nobody knows. Nobody knows who the first pharaoh was. We can hypothesize, but no. They're now finding that some of the pyramids that they've discovered are over 8,400 years old, and that's insane. But that's we think that we're such fucking geniuses. We're still dying. We still live and then die, and are erased by time, erased by the infinium of time. So all you have are your dreams, and you better go for them. And I fucking sound like Tony Robbins right now.
The Tony Robbins of indie horror.
Go make snuff films in Thailand for a billionaire. Jesus, man. Wow.
So there was no truth to that rumor then, right?
There's some serious dark shit. There's some serious dark shit, man.
But hey, at least, unlike some other indie horror directors that I won't mention by name right now, at least you came clean with everybody. Everybody got their money back. You're upfront about how the movie's not going to happen, and you didn't go into hiding as a lot of people were saying. Because, I'm in a lot of these collectors groups on social media, and a lot of this stuff comes up. And, you have maybe one person slam you, and then 5 people defend you. So,
people can think what they want. Like, I had my life fall apart, and a lot of people have a lot of reasons to hate me. Like, that's just the truth. Like, I'm not trying to fuck anybody over. I'm not trying to fuck anybody out of money. I'm trying to make films, and I literally have absolutely no resources. And The Sadist was a movie that, yes, there were things that we did to make that film that are now very much so an open wound to me personally, but also, and, you know, this is just the truth, like, I don't necessarily know that a lot of the people associated with that movie would want it to come out. And I don't want to do that. I mean, I've asked everyone, and everyone says, yes, they want it to come out. But, before I put it out, I would want to get an A-OK from everyone on it.
I know when you were making it, I talked to you a couple times when you were in the process of making it, and you would tell me, man, I filmed some really sick shit last night. I can't believe some of the shit I filmed.
It's also like, some people, when they make a movie, there's the reality of the movie, and they're just on set, and it's not real life, and they're not risking anything, and there's nothing going on that could potentially wind up really destroying someone's life. But The Sadist was real. I am a sex addict. That movie is about sex addiction. That movie ruined my life. Like, to put it out, I don't know if it's like, I don't want to do harm to the world. I know that a lot of people think that that's who I am, and that's why I made Hunters. And maybe at that time in my life, I was angry enough that I was trying to fucking put things out that were fucking shitty and harmful. But I don't know that that's who I am anymore as a person. Like, even with Betrayer, a lot of the work that I've made comes from a place of despair and hate. And a lot of the work that I've made is not necessarily safe for everyone, myself included. And I'm of the mind sometimes, because it's brought me a lot of misery, that it's hard for me to want to release it. I've written a second book. I know that I probably will never put it out. I know that if I do put it out, some people may have their lives ruined. And I'm not that person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I
but
don't want to be that person.
Your art is cathartic for you. I mean, that's how you exercise your demons, for lack of a better term, right? I mean, you have these emotions inside of you. You put it out in the form of your art, and that's your release valve.
I mean, and people, they don't believe me when I tell them this, but a lot of the times when you're making work, it's like a spell, and you're weaving it into reality. And you start to believe it, and it becomes a thing that you work on so often that it becomes a reality to you, especially if you care about it more than anything else in the world. And if you're making something that's fucking terrifying and terrible, that's actually something that you know something about, and you have, only, everything to give to it in your soul, then it's going to turn out to maybe be something that's, not just a fucking esoteric idea.
Yeah.
It's going to be something that actually physically impacts people. And again, like, I've had someone slap me in the face for Hunters, and I don't know that that's something that's fucking, like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Why am I doing that? Well,
so, short list of actors or actresses that you'd like to work with.
to be honest,
Yeah.
there are so many people that I would love to work with. As far as like actors go, I mean, are you talking like all time or like just now? People working now.
People working now. Let's make a future collaboration here.
I mean, if you're talking about anybody, I'm talking about Fassbender. Give me Fassbender. Make a movie with him. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, yeah. Actresses, like, as far as, I would really absolutely love to make a movie with Shelley Duvall.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah. I feel like, The Shining is one of those movies that, again, is one of the like my favorite movies of all time. And I don't know. I feel like after that, not seeing her basically ever again, I would love to put her in something.
That would be crazy. That would be crazy. I know as far as like genre legends, you worked with Linnea Quigley in Hunters. I actually just met her a couple weeks ago for the first time.
She is the sweetest lady. She is a very sweet lady. Yeah, and she's again, like, it was so insane to get to work with her because you're working with somebody who you've watched over and over in other films so many times.
Yeah.
You know, Night of the Demons.
Return of the Living Dead, yeah.
Night. Yeah, come on, man. Like, I'm being a little kid again because that's what I love about those films. You know, like Halloween 3 takes me back to being young and being pissed at that movie, and now I love that movie.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly.
I remember renting that movie, and everybody that I got, like, you know, like we had our nerd group of dudes that hung out and watched movies, and like everybody was pissed at me, and they were like, "This isn't even fucking Halloween. It's no Michael Myers."
I'm gonna date myself a little bit here. I saw that in a cinema. Granted, I was like 9 years old, but you know.
I'm old too, man. Don't worry about it. I'm old too. I remember hanging out with people where there were no cell phones.
Yeah, exactly.
You had to meet up.
So what's next? Betrayer then is what you're working on now.
I'm finishing Betrayer, and I'm just I don't know how to put it out as far as like I want to do drive-ins because I feel like it plays better in, you know, more of an amphitheater, and I feel like the atmosphere would be perfect, would be really perfect in a, you know, nice summer night drive-in. So that's maybe what I'm gonna do with that as far as release goes, but you know, it's just financing everything or trying to finance everything or get, you know, partnerships where you wind up not even getting paid any money. You're just trying to get your film shown. That's, you know, it's actually a full-time job. People don't realize that.
Oh, I can imagine.
You know,
I mean,
every film studio has someone whose full-time job that is. And to be an independent filmmaker, you have to do all those little things. Like if you put the credits on your movie, and you know, you as a indie filmmaker, I tried not to give myself all the credits that I could because like you're like, this makes me look so fucking pathetic that I couldn't pay anyone to do any of it.
Or it makes you look like an egomaniac, you know.
Yeah, well.
But hey, you know, you had a misstep there, and it's great to see that you're in a good creative place again. And I know for a fact that I'm not the only one waiting to see what you got next. So I know that for a fact, man. You still have a fan base out there. You still have a lot of people that believe. You still have a lot of people that believe in you. So
I do really love you guys. Like I fucking appreciate the shit out of that, Tom. It really means a lot. Like I know that as far as filmmaking goes, like I know that I'm never going to be able to give it up. It's like an addiction. It is like an addiction. And I've talked to my good friend James Brown about this a lot. Like sometimes I wish I could quit it because it literally takes everything from me. Like I just can't tell you how many times I've chosen filmmaking over other things in my life that I should not have.
Yeah.
And in the same breath, like I can't imagine not being excited to make another movie because I say I might take a break and write another book or whatever, but I have the camera, so you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I can't. Those fuckers. They're like crack pipes, you know. Like
it's like an alcoholic who keeps a bottle of whiskey in the cabinet just in case, right?
Oh my god, I can't put those fuckers down.
It was great talking to you, man. I'm glad you're in a good space, and thanks for being on the Scream Kingdom.
Thank you. I love you, Tom.
Love you too, brother.